Hi, Leslie Rogalski here with another Facebook Live from the BeadSmith. Today we want to introduce you to our bracelet ends. These are gold plate and silver plate, and they are two lovely, finely knit. They're like little ropes of the metal with ends on them that are nicely finished with jump rings at both ends, and they're sliding through a smart bead, which means, see how that just slides through? It's a silicone lined bead so that you can attach whatever you want at one end and adjust it as a bracelet by tightening up on the beads. Notice how there's the same nicely finished endings on the other end, also with little jump rings to add some decoration. And I can't wait to show you some of the things we did. You know, we all have little bits and pieces of beadwork, maybe sitting around, you have an extra component, or you don't want to spend a lot of time and you just want to make one thing. So let me show you some of the ways that you can so easily take those components and finish it up into a beautiful chic looking bracelet. So over here I have some of our Bondelli finish. This was just a little simple mandala that was stitched, and we have taken another jump ring and just looped it right under the bead, right under the thread on either side, and at the other end, using fire line, we made little rings with the true 2 millimeters that are in the mandala and attached them with jump rings. And there's your bracelet. How fast is that? Before I forget, I want to make sure you remember that the piece that's going to be attached to this should run from wrist bone to wrist bone. Otherwise it's going to be too small to get over your hand. So you want to make sure, like in this case, you have a nice linked chain with some symbol components, and it makes it long enough to fit across from wrist bone to wrist bone, and then you can just pull the bead up, and there you go. This one we didn't attach anything underneath, but look how easy that is. We just attached jump rings from the bracelet ends to the component. So here we have paisley duos and gem duos with some symbol findings. These, do they look familiar? We just swapped out. This is a little strip of delica beads with symbol endings and substitutes, a couple jump rings on either end, and then again we used fire line to make just little decorative dangles. Just tied them in a circle and knotted them, beads that complement the piece. Here's just another colorway in the silver. Now coming down here in this one, suppose you have a small piece but you still wanted it to fit. You didn't really want to make it bigger or add more components. Look how we just added extra jump rings between the end of the component and the end of the bracelet parts. Cool, huh? This one is just basic. Again, all we did was jump ring to the symbol ends. Now the next sample, I took a centerline component, which I've used chain to make endings, and you've seen it with the macrame. This time I used a jump ring to attach our bracelet ends, and for the little decorative dangles I took head pins and I strung delicas that match the design. So you're probably getting ideas already about how varied this can be. Now I want you to notice how both of these ropes come straight through. A variation of it in this next piece, they crisscross. And that's really just a personal design decision. Maybe it makes it easier for you to adjust it once it's on. Little loops of the seed beads again. And the last example I really had fun doing. all I did here was take some very sparkly pave beads, string them on a piece of wire, and I did the basic crimping around a wire guard through the little jump ring on the end, and then I covered the crimp with a crimp cover. Did the same thing here and added these cool little drops. Pretty nifty, right? So I'm going to show you how easy it is. We're going to come over to my workboard. And I'm holding the ends and just sliding this up. Look at that. Fast, right? It's simple stringing with really cool beads and just a fabulous component that you probably never heard of, the bracelet ends. So let's get started doing this. Sit down. To show you how to do this, I'm using new micro grip tools. They're a smaller handle and really finely engineered ends. So the tools I've chosen are a bent chain nose and a long chain nose because I'm going to be working with jump rings. I like to use a bent with a straight because it gives me better visibility when I put my jump rings on. Then I have a side cutter and of course my crimping pliers. I'm using Flexrite .018. Pearl silver kind of blends in with the silver that I'm going to use. Then I have already pre-strung another set. And take a look at the end here. I've already crimped my end through the wire guard and covered the crimp with a crimp cover. And I'm going to use a jump ring to attach it to one of these. And I'll do that after I finish crimping off the other end. So I have a bead stopper on my wire. And in between these, by the way, are vitrail micro spacers. Look at these colors. I thought they picked up the AB of the pave beads really nicely. It's probably hard for you guys to see, but hi everybody who's watching. So these are really basic crimping and wire work, and using them in this project just makes it nice and fast. So I have already strung my crimp tube, a 2x2, and one side of the wire guard. And I'm going to string my wire back through the wire guard and through the crimp. And I want to try to hide the wire end, so I'm going to go back through the microspacer. It's a little snug, but I did it once, so I should be able to do it again. And in case you're wondering how I'm taking pictures and using both my hands, the other part of Team Leslie is the cameraman. Yay, Leslie Pope. Hello. Thank you so much. I couldn't do it without you. So all I'm doing now by sliding the wire back in and pulling this together is so that when I snip the wire after I crimp it, I'm not going to have an end sticking out. So here's my tail, and I've pulled my crimp back, my wire guard, taking my crimp plier, and you do the inner nose first to make your little hot dog roll shape and the outer one to then roll it. Don't break your microspacer. Crimp it nice and tight. Now I'm going to go to the outer part, and it's like a little tube. I'm going to take my crimp cover, slide it on, and I'm going to use my long chain nose and close that up. Just gently closing it up and moving my pliers around so that it's nice and smooth. There we go. Now I'm going to take my micro grip side cutter, and here's where the fineness of it really comes in. I can really get nice and close in there to snip this. There we go. All right, so we have our component, just like you would have a beaded component, and we're going to attach it to our bracelet ending with jump rings. 2 pairs of pliers. You know, when you open a jump ring, it goes this way, not this way. So I'm using 1 pair of pliers to hold one side and my bent nose. Did you see how I did that? I'm going to slide my jump ring from my bracelet end and the wire guard on. Take my other pliers, close it up, make sure they're nice and clean. Do it to the other side. Pick up another jump ring. Find where the opening is. Open it up. Like that. Hook it on to your component wire guard and the jump ring in the bracelet end. Close it up. Ta-da! But wait, I'm not done. I found, I think, the perfect crystals. And I took a head pin and one of the micro spacers and made a little wire wrap loop there. And now I'm just going to jump ring this on the other end of the bracelet half with another jump ring. Open it up, slide your component on, hook your jump ring from the bracelet end, and close up your jump ring. Look how pretty that is, and how fast it came together even though I pre-strung things. So what do you guys think? The micro tools are really awesome. I have small hands and a lot of times I do have bigger work, but these are perfect for finer work. The action's really great, the spring action. My new favorite tools. That list is growing. Anyway, this was the Facebook Live for the bracelet endings. Hope you guys like them. Happy beading! See ya!